Alright, it is the next day. I think we're gonna start a new vlog today. Yeah, we have a hair update. It's a little messed up. Surprise. Today is gonna be one of my last Whatnot lives for the 2 months that I'm working with them, and I kind of wanted to do a little recap. August was a crazy month for me, and I feel like September I'm finally getting back into my groove. Yeah, we're getting back into it. We're sewing again. We're still doing Whatnot. We're back doing pop-ups every once in a while, and yeah, just doing lots of things. So if you're new here, my name is Tori, aka Nostalgic Threads. I do thrifting, vintage, upcycling, and also just kind of talk about running my small business. So yeah, if you like that stuff, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. I just kind of do this YouTube channel for fun. I just enjoy documenting everything, and there's just been a lot of things that I've been through since I've moved to LA. I've been here for about 8 or 9 years, and I just regret not documenting a lot of the things that I went through. So honestly, this YouTube channel is just kind of for me to reflect on, and whoever wants to join in, that's tight. But yeah, I went to a swap meet today, got a lot of stuff. I just want to hop on live because sometimes I'll literally just do hauls on Whatnot to connect with people, and that's kind of the main reason why I wanted to work with Whatnot. I thought it would just be a great opportunity for me to build a more intimate connection with people that follow me. I was talking to one of my friends yesterday at Rose Bowl, and I do get that the bigger you get, the harder it is to maintain that kind of a connection with people. So I think it's just a balance, and that's honestly why I want to do YouTube, because I feel like I can express myself the best. My attention span actually can handle the long form and appreciates the long forms. I guess that's why I'm sticking to YouTube, baby. Anyways, going on 5 million tangents. I'm just gonna go live today, kind of just talk about my experience with Whatnot. I feel like if you're somebody that is really great on camera and you're great at talking, I kind of just recommend doing it, just giving it a shot, because you never know. And I feel like going live, you have to be good at talking or keeping the pace going, because as somebody that watches lives, if you're not entertaining or whatever, or I guess it's one of those things where it's people are purely there to get the steals for okay, you know what, I think I need to write down a little outline for all this, and then we'll get into this. I'm about to go live, but I'm not sewing today, so that's why I'm doing it during the day, just because I like doing stuff in the daylight. I have a box light, but I just don't really like using it. So yeah, I guess I'll go live and I'll walk you through my past 2 months of working with them, and yeah, I'll just tell you my honest thoughts. But I just feel as a reseller, there's so many different ways to sell clothes. Obviously there's the online platforms like Depop, Etsy, eBay, list goes on, and then there's also doing pop-ups. And then now, I think depending on where you live, I know it's very heavy in California where they're starting to retail shops. I vlogged about one of them called So Market, but it's these co-op stores that allow people like me to rent out a rack. So I think I'll kind of just talk about all the different ways I've been doing reselling, and how I feel Whatnot is kind of the most beneficial to me at the moment. So yeah, I just thought this would be a fun video where you guys can kind of get to know me. I'm gonna talk a lot. Shocker, I always talk a lot. And you guys get the first look at the new hair. I did a poll on Instagram. It was kind of faded, and I wanted this red to purple ombre. But yeah, I have to blend it more. Catch up with you later so we can chit chat more about, I guess, yeah, my experience with reselling, blah blah blah. We're back in the bathroom because I feel am I clear? Maybe we'll do this one, because then at least I'm by the window. Well, I guess I'm using temporary dye today. So I dyed my hair red yesterday, and then I used a lighter or a darker purple. And then I don't like how it turned out. I wanted it to be lighter, and I knew. I asked the Sally's person what they recommended, and they were it's not gonna show up. It's not gonna show up. Well, yesterday when I washed it out, my hair looked black, and at least today it's kind of purple, but I feel I just know. I've been dyeing my hair for a long time. I know how colors are gonna look on me, and this is what I should have got yesterday. I wrote some notes on my phone And I want this video to actually be like constructive and helpful for people that are in the reselling space. I feel like I've just done a lot of different things and I'm like navigating my new way of doing things right now. So also, I'm still going to be going live every Tuesday and Thursday on Whatnot, so make sure to use the link in my bio to bookmark my shows and you get $15 off your first purchase. And then if you want to sign up to be a seller as well and use the link in my bio, that really helps me out. So yeah, I guess I just want to say like thank you to everybody who supports Nostalgic Threads, the vintage business. Cause yeah, this past month I've been able to go in the studio, be able to sew, be able to like get all my design ideas out, and that wouldn't be possible if you guys didn't support my vintage shop, if you didn't come out and buy stuff from me, and honestly give me the platform that I have today with what I'm doing. So I just genuinely from the bottom of my heart want to say thank you. You guys are allowing me to pursue my dream. So, all right, officially getting there. So I guess I just wanted to talk about what I think the benefits of getting onto a live streaming app like Whatnot. Because I feel like a lot of people, or at least my friends that do reselling that are also in like, whoa, my stomach, that are in like the flea market scene in LA don't necessarily like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's social anxiety. I feel like a lot of people also don't like to show their face when it comes to reselling, which I mean, I get it. I feel like it's hard, you know, because I feel like also like if you show your face and people know who you are, like this is literally what I face all the time, then you know, they're like, oh, like this is her job, so I'm gonna like tax her, or like it's like a weird thing. So like I get it, like why people like don't like to show their face, because I think in some ways it does hurt your business, but you know, everything's different for everyone. So yeah, I just wanna like reiterate, like everything I'm saying is just what works for me. So basically for me, going into like working with Whatnot, I knew that like I wanted to like figure out how to build, like I just wanted to like engage with my audience more. So I'm gonna just be like very, very honest in this video, because I just feel like nobody wants to share things. And you know what? If you put in the effort to click on this video and watch it, you can have all my tea. No matter what I tell you guys, like there's no way you guys are gonna do it the same way I'm doing it. Just like how the way you guys do it, no, I can't do it the way you do it. So that's why I have no problems like sharing information, you know? I just want to help people, and I know I'm already like doing my thing. So that's all I got to say on that. I think the biggest things like I would take away from working with Whatnot is that like whether I'm doing a pop-up, whether I'm on Depop, like no matter what I'm doing, like it's like about exposure. And I think that's something that my grandpa like really like harped on me. The people that do reselling, you know, there isn't like a guidebook, or like if you run your own business, like you just kind of have to like you just have to figure it out for yourself, whether someone has done it before or not, because like that's just how it is. Everything's like so personal. Like, you know, there's a McDonald's and there's a Burger King. They both sell burgers and fries, but they do things differently. And I think that's just like what people in the reselling world just need to like realize right now. Like, I think, and that's what's awesome about it growing so much. Yeah, I don't dye my hair like normal people do. I do this because I like to get this like weird watercolor painted ombre effect. So, because I don't know, I feel like you guys kind of enjoyed when I did the makeup thing, so. Anyways, Whatnot has been like a good experience for me personally, because it's really allowed me to like connect with people in ways that the flea markets were good at first, but now, and like I don't know if it's just me or like whatever, but it's like I just feel like I go to the flea market and people are just like so disrespectful to me, and like it's just like different energy than it was like when I first got into it. And like part of it is like maybe I don't know if I was meant to be a flea market person. Like I got into vintage being like a consumer at the flea market, and I was like a Depop girly, like, you know what I mean? So that was kind of something that I was like thinking about, where I was just like, maybe like that's what it is. Like maybe like I had my run and my time of doing stuff at the flea market because I feel like there is like that level of like, you know, networking, like finding new customers, getting different exposure to different people. But yeah, I don't know, like I've been fighting it for so long because like it is like good to do, like sometimes like the flea markets like can be super lucrative and you can make a lot of money, but I just feel like this past year, like, and I'm not saying it's always about the money because it is like about like, you know, meeting future clients, like getting your message out, like that also has value to it too. But I mean, unfortunately in this economy right now, it sucks that money does matter. And like, you know, I think that's just real. It's just very real right now. It's also hard when you like turn something that was a passion project into like your business. So I think that's just also something I'm like navigating right now. But I think it's just been nice with Whatnot because I've been able to have more, I guess, like real conversations with, I guess, people that want to interact with me online. When I meet people in real life, the people that have like had those interactions like seem to support me way more. Like I did Bid Stitch Flea the other day and there's maybe like 10 vendors and I probably got like 20 new Instagram followers that day. Versus like, you know, I do Silver Lake Flea and that was kind of like, that was, I don't know, that was like the pop-in flea market to do like right after quarantine if you're in LA. And like, I'm really grateful for my run like at Silver Lake Flea, but I don't know, the vibe just like really changed there. Like it was, and I don't like, I'm not saying anything against the flea market itself. It's just like the culture at that flea market changed. At least in my perspective, I used to feel a sense of belonging there. I used to feel like, I don't know, you know? And I feel like that's just life, you know? Like things change, people change, like you can't, when things get too comfortable, that's probably when you got to move on to the next thing, especially in like the creative world. So I had been dancing around going on Whatnot for a long time because I mean, like everybody else, we're all like socially anxious. We're all like scared to go live and being perceived. This very like, I don't even know, like you just feel vulnerable, you know, because you're like everyone's looking at you. It's like that thing where you're naked in a spotlight. So I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of how it feels like the first couple of times you do it. And when I went live with them years past, I would just do like a one-off live or like, you know, I do one once a month maybe. But I think after doing a summer of like weekly lives, I think in a way it pushed me out of my comfort zone to like one, for myself, like be able to articulate myself better. And like, I felt like it's like a safer environment when you're in a live of like 15 people. It's like being a teacher in class. It's like you have this captivated audience of people that will just like listen to you. And that's just honestly like at a flea market in person when you got like so many people coming at you, like I just realized I think it's hard for me to be able to like do my thing. I don't know. When you got like, cause I want to like focus on the story, but then you got to like help a customer and then like, I don't know, someone else asking a question. When I'm live, I have the floor, which is something that I feel like I like. So yeah, I feel like if you want to go live, you definitely got to work on your talking skills, but also low-key, if you're a reseller, I just feel like you like to talk. Because I just feel like it's like a social thing, you know? Or I guess unless you're like solely a Depop girly. I guess I'm just talking about people that do flea markets. I guess if you don't do flea markets, then you might have a little bit of a learning curve when it comes to run it, because it is a little intense. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little intense. This is the part that I don't want to do, is the bangs. But then you can just laugh at me with the bangs. But I'll just say this, and like, this is just my experience. So like, take it for what it is. Like, I just know what I do. I don't know what is good for you. I just know it's good for me. The one thing that I guess really spoke to me on Whatnot was that one day I was going live and it was just nice. I was showing people the new haul, showing everyone the new stuff, and one day someone asked me to show all my upcycled pieces, which for me just felt like
very surreal because, like, look, I don't know how people know me, you know? I feel like a lot of people know me because of Depop, or when people were hopping into my live and then people were hyped to see my upcycled pieces, which is, you know, going into Whatnot, I wouldn't think people would know me for that because I'm there pushing my Y2K, my vintage, you know what I mean? I don't even talk about my upcycling that much. And then I think once somebody like asked about it, I was like, oh my god, why am I not talking about that on here? I guess that's just what I'm trying to expose. Oh my god, my hair. That's what I'm just trying to like share, I guess, with my experience with Whatnot. And if you're like somebody that's, I don't know what it is, if you're good at like talking, if you like to talk, yada yada, I think it is a beneficial platform for you because it just gives you an opportunity to connect with people and it's very organic. I will, you know, I'll go live, I'll add all the listings I want for the live. You never know where it's gonna take you, and it just depends on like the people that come through. And I feel like for me, that's just been the rewarding experience of going live on Whatnot. Building that kind of, the people that want to know more about you, building that kind of following versus like when it comes down to it, there's a lot of people doing reselling now, right? So it's kind of like we're at this level of why should someone buy from you? And I think when I think about me, I just think about like the ethics of it all. Like I feel like for my shop, I'm very eclectic. I really tried to stick to 90s because when I first started selling on Depop, it was just 90s t-shirts and sweatshirts and denim. Like that's literally all I did. And I think after that, just because of my clientele at that time, you know, it was very much the Depop girlies. So then I went heavy into Y2K just because that's what people wanted from me. And I think that's something, okay, maybe we need to do this off cam and then we'll keep going. Oof, all right. Got the bangs foiled. I don't know, now I kind of feel ridiculous filming the rest of this video, but let's just do it for the fun of it at this point. So, what I'm trying to say is being on Whatnot kind of like adds the like humanity of it all back into it because I just think about it like this, like most resellers are like a one-person show unless they're lucky enough where they built a team together, but I guess I like think about it like this. It's not impossible, but it is really hard doing everything by yourself as a small business, as an entrepreneur. And I just think that like for me, at least on Whatnot, I'll be trying to sell my clothes, but then I can also be like, hey, it's cool. You can also follow me on Instagram or check out my YouTube channel. That also really helps me out. And I think the benefit of being live on Whatnot is that like they're already on their phone looking at you, so they might as well just like, they make it easy. It's like FaceTime where the live can just go to the side and then they can go and like literally follow you while you're going live. And that was just something that I think was kind of powerful to me. People on Whatnot are actually actively interested in me. Versus I'll be at the flea market and I'll do my whole like, this is who I am, this is what I do, hit me up online. Like I do a lot of stuff there and I'll maybe get some followers or I'll maybe get some like new people from that. But yeah, I think Whatnot has really helped me to build like a new network of people that I probably wouldn't be able to touch. And I think what's so cool about Whatnot is that like I'm selling to people like in New York, in Texas, in Miami, like all over the place. I don't remember who I was talking to, but it just like reminded me of how it felt when I first started doing Depop and how like, yeah, you're connecting with all these different people around the country, sometimes even in Canada with Depop. I don't know, I think Whatnot does out of country stuff, but I know for me, all my customers are in the US. And there's like a sense of community. I think I left or I stopped posting as often on Depop just because the comments were getting so nasty. I just honestly it was not the customer I wanted to be in touch with anymore. And that's why I moved on to the flea markets and did Depop like part-time or whatever, like just doing Depop just to do it. Alright, I realized I could actually dye more of my hair. I guess like another thing I just wanted to touch on is that reselling, everything's essentially one of one. You know what I mean? Like you gotta individually sell everything. It's not a typical fashion brand where, okay, you make a shirt and then you have a size run of like small, medium, large, extra large, you know the drill. You'll have 300 different things instead of having 300 of one thing but different size runs. So listing on Depop is timely. Listing online is timely. And I think for me, I mean, I also am grateful that I have people that are down to tune into my lives, because I think that's honestly the intimidating part. And if I'm being honest, my lives probably max have maybe 20 to 30 people, but like average at one time I probably have like 15 to 20 people in my life. Like they're pretty like chill, like they're not crazy. And I feel like if it's crazy, it's because someone sent a raid over to me, and that doesn't happen all the time. That's also like a feature in the app that I didn't know existed. And then one day there was like 100 people in my life and I was like, where did you guys come from? But it has definitely been fun in that way. For me, as an introvert, like I just like the option of doing something from home. Like if something comes up, I just don't go live, you know what I mean? But it's like with the flea market, I don't know, for me, I just think it works against me in terms of how I like to move. I like events, so I feel doing something like once in a while is more my speed. Building up to something special, I feel like that is kind of like what's worth it for me in terms of going and doing an in-person pop-up, like Fantasy Soul, which will be the next vlog coming, so stay tuned, because that's a really special video to me. But yeah, I think just for me to be able to do pop-ups that like are more meaningful to me is kind of like what I want to move towards. And to me, like doing the weekly flea markets, for the lack of a better way to put it, it just feels like a cash grab, you know? It just feels like, okay, like, I don't know. It just feels like I've just got into this level of like doing it to just do it. And then I don't have enough time for my mental to recover. And honestly, my social life went to shit the past 2 years. Like I literally, because I'm an introvert, it's doing these flea markets is just like so mentally and emotionally draining that it, okay, I do the markets on Saturday and Sunday. Monday I rest. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday I'll source. And then Friday I have to like prepare for the market. And then, you know, it's like I know people do it. I know people have a bigger social battery than I do. For me, I just felt like my quality of life was not where I wanted it to be anymore. Like I didn't even have energy for my actual friends. And that's when I was just like, damn, like I don't really want to be like moving like this anymore. So I'm really grateful that I have the opportunity to sell on Whatnot, because I think that has given a lot of time back to me that I didn't think I would have. Being able to, I think the one nice thing is they make it really easy to like do a listing. And then I think because you're going live, I mean, obviously don't take like a shitty picture, but like, you know what I mean? Because you're live, you're right there, you can answer any questions. You could point out any flaws, you can measure it right in front of them so they understand how you're measuring it. Because I know that's like, I don't know, I felt like when I got onto Depop, that was like a whole thing. I was just like, yo, we literally gotta explain to people how to measure themselves. You know what I'm saying? I've worked in fashion for a long time, so a lot of these things, well, also, I'm just insane. Like, I can literally look at something and I can know that it's gonna fit me, even if it's online. Like, it's kind of a gift. I don't know how I was gifted that, but yeah, I feel like I'm really good at that. But obviously, most people aren't, you know? Most people need more details, that's normal. I'm just insane. I just love clothes, and I feel like I am really good at being able to look at something and like, see the vision. I'm getting annoying now. So I think it's just really made things like easier, and like, I mean, I went through some like personal stuff this summer on my own, right? But like, I just feel like dealing with that, being live on Whatnot, instead of like when you're going through stuff and then you have to be in person, like physically, is just like a whole nother level. And so I think Whatnot has like genuinely helped me find my place in vintage again, remind me that like this, like I do love doing what I do. I do want to keep connecting with people. I think I just got really jaded with the flea market scene, and I don't really know exactly why, but I just like was hitting this point where I was like, this is just not for me. And it's not that I wanted to quit doing vintage, but I was just like, yo, the flea market life isn't for me, you know? It's just not. And it really is only for, like, I don't know. I'm literally going in a circle with all this. I hope you guys are still hanging on. But yeah, I just think it's nice to like have, like, I just think the vintage game has evolved so much in the past, like specifically the past, like, I guess we're in 2023. So from 2019 to 2023 specifically, in my mind, I feel like the vintage scene has evolved a lot. Like, I was just a collector, you know? Like, I guess, I don't even know what to call it, but like pre-2019, I would just consider myself like a collector, and like, I literally sold on Poshmark. Wasn't that serious, you know? And then like, it was just a thing where I just started my Depop shop because people were like, damn, you have hella good shit. You should like do a Depop or whatever. And like Poshmark was starting to slow down, and that was like my like, side gig while I was like working in fashion, because I don't know, that was just my 9 to 5 at the time. And then yeah, like Depop changed the fucking game for me. And then I think during COVID, Depop really like had its moment. Like literally, I wouldn't be here without it. And I feel like I don't say that enough sometimes, but I think that's like another thing that people don't need to realize. It's just like sometimes you gotta pay tribute to where you came from. And I think that's why no matter what, I'll always support Depop, because literally would not be Nostalgic Threads without having that opportunity in the first place. And I feel the same way about Whatnot, because I feel like right now I'm able to have these real conversations with people on Whatnot. I feel like people on Whatnot actually appreciate me, and when... Okay, but I'll stop talking about the semantics and actually get into more about like what I actually did on Whatnot. But let's see. We're just gonna hang out in our bathroom for now. But yeah, I did a mixture of like high and low lives. Like I did some lives that were like $5 and under, and then I also would do more curated lives where I would like literally price things like maybe $5 to $10 under what I would price it at the market. So there's definitely a mixture of how I did lives, just so you guys know if you're interested, because like for me, I don't have like that pool that some people do. Like I can't do $1. I can't run things for $1 unless like I got it for $1 or whatever, you know what I mean? I wish I could, but that's why most of my lives, like I say $5 and under, because that will be like, most of them will be like $3 to $5 starts. It's the lower end starting bids. And then I also do curated shows, because sometimes I'm like, okay, but I want to show people the good stuff and I'll just give it to them at like a discounted price. I guess that's kind of how I try to run things on Whatnot, because like for me, I've always wanted vintage to be accessible. And I know it's like hard because there are things that have value in vintage, and I don't want to like argue that with people, because like, everybody has their lane in vintage. And for me, my game is like, when it comes to vintage, I want things to be accessible. But when it comes to like my upcycled work, that's obviously a way different story, because that is my art. And so for me, it's like, if you want my art, you need to appreciate it and all the work that has gone into it. So that's, I guess, how I value like my upcycled pieces versus how I value like my vintage pieces. But obviously, if I care about my grails or archive pieces, that's why I just have like my shop, and I feel like I've like emotionally detached from it in that way, where like Nostalgic Threads is like my vehicle of like connecting to people, and obviously how I make money. But we can go into a whole story about like the ethos of like why I do things the way I do things, but I'll give you that little taste for now. And then let's see, I'm just reading through my notes because I'm also getting tired, but this might be a two-parter. Maybe I'll do the full reveal at the end, and then
gave you guys a little bit more insight on doing stuff with Depop, but I mean Depop, Whatnot, oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Whatnot is something that a lot of resellers are maybe like afraid of, or maybe it's like a millennial thing, because to be honest, I feel like there's a lot of like, well, I don't know. I guess there's like a range of people, because I see people of all different ages on there, which is really cool versus like, I remember being on Depop, it literally felt like solely Gen Z and millennial. But like going on Whatnot, you see so many different people on there, and I think that's also what's really cool about it. Because I know that they got their popularity through like Pokemon cards and Funko Pops and like collectibles. And yeah, I worked with them like 2 years ago, and I feel like their women's wear wasn't as built up to what it is today. Cause yeah, like today it's like, I feel like I see Dolls Kill going live every day, which is kind of crazy. And then there's like a Skims live, which I wish I knew about the Skims live before I bought all my freaking Skims. That's like the only thing that I buy new is my Skims. Like, it's the only thing I buy that's not vintage. Or okay, and my socks. Yeah, my socks and my underwear. I mean, I guess these are thrifted, but they were brand new from the thrift store. But you know what I mean. Yeah, I just feel like there's a real opportunity right now with Whatnot, because one, you don't gotta pay for a booth. Yeah, you have to pay for like, you have to pay your like service fee or whatever, but you have to do that on any online platform, whether it's Etsy. Even with Squarespace, they have, like, even if you do your own website, I'm pretty sure you have to pay like a transaction fee now. Because that was also something that I was debating between. I was just like, what do I want to do? There's like so many different ways to sell online right now. You can make your own website. You can have your Instagram shop. You can sell through TikTok now. You can, it's like, it's literally like endless that my brain freaking hurts. And to be real, like until I get my own physical studio slash store or, you know, like showroom, I think for me, Whatnot is the best way to connect with people in the way that I want to connect with people. Because for me, it's a lot of storytelling, and I think it's hard to do the storytelling through Instagram because one, people have no attention span. I feel like people don't even like actually read everything that I write on my Instagram or even watch the whole video or whatever, you know what I mean? If it doesn't catch your attention, they're probably not looking at it. And I just think Whatnot has genuinely just given me this new way to connect with people. I don't know if how many times I've freaking said that in this video, but like I just think that is like what's important right now, like with any business that you do. It's being able to like have this brand ethos, whatever you believe in, whatever you're trying to share to your customer. And then yeah, just building that connection with them. Because I think, especially with vintage, you know, it's like people have to like understand the value to get it. And it's like, yeah, if you have this like $500 vintage t-shirt, but nobody knows why it's worth that, you know what I mean? Like, no one's gonna buy it. And I think that's kind of like the give and take of vintage right now, where it's like, people want to gatekeep their knowledge, but at the same time, it's like, you know what, I don't know, it's like, it's hard to put it into words because like, I get it, it's your secret, it's like how you make your money is your knowledge, but then it's like, I don't know, because yeah, I was talking to somebody about this stuff at Rose Bowl where it's like this weird gatekeepy, like, it's been this gatekeepy thing, and like, as like a 90s and Y2K, like 80s, 90s Y2K girly, like I know, like I can tell when things are older, but like in terms of knowing the worth, I don't freaking know. But it's like, but I want to learn, and it's like, I'm not trying to learn to like, I think that's just the thing. There's just so many people in this vintage thing for the money, and I get it. And I think that's kind of what everyone's trying to weed out, and that's probably why people are gatekeepy. Yeah, it just makes it really hard to learn though, and I think that's just what is like been the challenge for me since getting through this. And I think, yeah, even on Whatnot, I'll just be like, I'm not 100% sure of the era, but I believe it's between these eras, and this is what I would value it at, and I have my reasons why. So I think there's those levels of that. And I think that's kind of where vintage is moving to, you know? I think it's more about like personal curation. Cause yeah, I used to be really self-conscious about selling because of like
I'll have like Y2K shit and then also have like true vintage, like, I don't know, it's like everything from all eras. Like, I feel like I'm very eclectic when it comes to like my interests, and I think, I mean, I've gone through it so many times where people are just like, oh my god, you're copying, that's not your style, and it's like all these things, but I'm just like, I don't know. Vintage is just a very, very strange combo sometimes, where I love it because I love, like, for just simply because I love clothing. I love learning about like how things were made. I feel like there's so much history you learn. I feel like you even just learn a lot about people through clothes. And I think for me, at the end of the day, clothing is about self-expression. Like, yeah, it's cool, it's fun, you get to look cool, but I think it's also just like, yeah, that level of just like being able to express yourself. And okay, we just blabbed so much. I think I'm gonna wash this out and we might finish this later. We'll see what happens with this. I guess this was all semantics, but I wanted to get into like more of strategy maybe, and I'll give you more maybe tomorrow on like, I can break it down of like what I went through. But yeah, if you guys have more questions about selling on Whatnot, I really want to know what you guys want to know. So make sure to leave me some comments. Make sure to check me out on Whatnot. Because yeah, we have full-on conversations there. Like, I'll literally talk to somebody about their prom dress and we'll, whatever. That's how personal it gets there. But yeah, thank you to everybody for watching the video if you watched it, for watching any of my videos if you've watched them. And yeah, you can find me on Instagram at nostalgic.threads or on Whatnot at nostalgicthreads. So yeah, thanks for watching and I'll see you guys later.
All right, we'll do a hair reveal. There we go. It's the next day. Okay, I feel like maybe me hanging out in the bathroom was a little too chaotic, so wanted to finish out the video with just giving you guys, I guess, my tips and tricks and like what I learned over the 2 months of selling with Whatnot. And a lot of people hanging out in my lives are like interested in selling, so that's why I thought this would be a good way to end the video. But yeah, thank you to everybody who has been joining the lives. It's been nice to get like feedback from you guys, and sometimes I think, one second, let's get the fan. But yeah, sometimes I just think that's like the best way to, I guess, get feedback is from people directly, and that's why going live has been fun. I can hang out on my couch. We're a little crooked, but it's okay. We've been selling on Whatnot for about 2 months, and to be honest, I'm not making like a ton of money on there. I know I'm like selling every time I go live. I probably make like $100 to like $200 per live. And for me, I guess it's kind of cool because I think about it in the sense of like, okay, I go live for like an hour, hour and a half, and I make like $100 to $200. So that's like $100 an hour, which if I think about it like that, it's kind of nice. Versus like, you know, flea markets lately haven't been as lucrative, and those are like 12-hour days, and sometimes like, I don't know, it's like some days are good and you'll make over like $1,000, and then other days are like not very good, and then you have to pay for the booth, and then you also have like to account like all the time that you put in. And honestly, for me personally, as an introvert, I just think being able to do stuff from home helps me like protect my energy a little bit more right now, especially since the markets aren't as lucrative as they used to be. I think before it was worth it, you know, because I'm making like $1,000 to $2,000 a day, and I think that's more worth it. But when you're making less than $1,000, I think that's, for me, that's when I'm like, okay, I think I want to do something different. I'd rather invest my time in doing other things. And I think that's like the beauty of, I guess, where the reselling space is getting to now. There's like so many different ways you can do it. So with Whatnot, I think if you're looking to sell on Whatnot, it has to be something that you're willing to like put the time and energy into. I think that goes for like any reselling platform, if I'm being honest. You can't just expect to like hop on Whatnot and make a lot of money. I think that's kind of the energy a lot of like resellers do whenever they see new resellers doing something, whether it's new market, a new platform, new opportunity. I feel like people just assume that they're just gonna make a ton of money doing it. Obviously that's the goal, but I think now with
all the options out there. It's more about like finding what is best for you. And I think for me, it is doing something like a mixture of like Whatnot and in-person pop-ups, because I think there's like, that's the level of like exposure I'd like to get. And I know for my social battery, it's like, it's way easier for me to hop on Whatnot for like an hour or two a few times a week than go set up at a flea market. So it's like, if I could like work from home on my own time and schedule doing Whatnot, I'd much rather do that at my own pace than like deal with booking a flea market. And if I'm just being completely transparent, I just think like, I'm grateful to be in LA where there's a lot of opportunities for flea markets, but I just think for me personally, and like I'm just saying this because I worked like a 9-to-5 job before, I like ran pop-ups before, I'm just saying like I have my own experiences with this, and I just think for me flea markets are a little bit too I don't know what the word is, like I just feel like flea markets just lack a little bit of structure that like I need to like do my thing, if that makes sense. And some people are great at it, because like look, a lot of my friends do it, a lot of my friends love it, that's their thing, you know. And like this is no like shade to the flea market life, I just think for me personally, something like doing like ThriftCon or Fantasy Soul, which I don't know if it's the next one, it might be before this, so if it's already up, I'll make sure to like link it in the cards for you, or I've maybe already linked it in the cards, and I'll make sure to put it in the description box. But yeah, like I just would much rather, I guess, either like do events that are more aligned with me and whatever, and then kind of like curating my Whatnot streams to kind of like align with what I'm doing in real life, if that makes sense. So I think, for example, when I was gearing up for Fantasy Soul, I did a lot of like fairy core Whatnot live shows, and I think that kind of like helped, I don't know what the word is, but I think it helped to like kind of hunker down on my branding and like where I was trying to go with my vision for the moment. And I think that's just kind of cool to be able to do things in person that kind of match up with what you're doing online. Whatnot really like gives that inside look versus like, I try to do that with YouTube, but you know, I have to film it, go through all the footage, and then edit it all together. And then I think Whatnot is just that extra layer of giving this like raw behind the scenes, like this is who I am, this is who you're supporting. And I think there's like a level of that that's like important right now with reselling, and I guess like running a business in general, because I think the average consumer now is more, or at least I guess like millennial and Gen Z, like the younger consumer, I feel like they're more curious about like the brand, the ethics, and everything behind it. So yeah, that's like a little bit of like, I guess, the semantics around Whatnot. But in terms of like strategy, if you're looking to like get on Whatnot and, you know, take it seriously and make it grow, these are kind of like the things that I recommend doing. So yeah, I'll list it out, and this is how we'll close it out, because yeah, I think I'm just going on 5 million tangents. So if you're planning to go on live on Whatnot, for me, I was a little bit sporadic. I tried to stick to a schedule, but I just think this summer has been very chaotic for me. For me, like selling on Whatnot, I try to incentivize my customer with having like a good deal on there. I think that's kind of like the vibes on Whatnot. Like it's just like you want to like give things to people for a good price. I think there's a lot of resellers on there that are buying and selling. So I think that's why it's kind of a cool place, because I think it's building the community of resellers again, which is something that like I'm looking forward to, because I just think with how everything blowing up with vintage, I think it has caused people to want to gatekeep information and all that kind of stuff. And I think for me, being introduced to the Whatnot scene, like I've just seen the other side of it now, and just seen that there are still people that want to work together, want to help each other out, people that are like willing to share information. So I think that's just really cool about it. And I think I already said this, but yeah, it just really reminds me of like the early days of Depop, you know, when they back in like 2018, 2019, when like they had like their top seller forum, and it was just one forum, and there was maybe like, I don't know, it wasn't that big, but then during the pandemic, I remember like it kind of blew up, and then they had to like separate it by like where you lived, because people would start getting nasty in the comments. But that's also how things go. I feel like for me, it's just exciting to be a part of the Whatnot women's wear community while it's early and while it's still developing, still growing. I feel like there's a lot of room for it to grow right now. And that's just kind of how I've always been. I like to like get in on things when it's early, because I think it's like, it's when it's the most exciting. It's when people like, I don't know, the beginning of things are always just like the most exciting. So yeah, I just feel like if you're into women's fashion and you sell a lot of like, I guess like true vintage to Y2K, I would say the majority of my stuff is from the 70s, 90s, and 2000s that I sell on Whatnot. But I see people selling all kinds of things. Like I see people selling true vintage on there, and they put their prices on there that are like, yeah, like some people do the dollar auctions, some people just straight up price it how they would in their normal store. So I think there's like a million different ways you can go about it, and I'm thinking about doing like a part 2 to this video just because I like want to get more feedback from people and their experiences. I feel like this video is just based off of like what I've seen on Whatnot, hopping onto other people's lives, and then also like, I guess my own experience on Whatnot. But yeah, I'd love to like answer like specific questions. I think I really want to do like a Q&A video. So if you made it to the end of the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate everybody who supports me, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Whatnot or Instagram. It really helps me out because right now I do reselling as my full-time job, but I do vintage because it supports my art, which is designing clothes, and that's like what I want to do. I really want to push the envelope forward in the sustainable fashion space. I think people are really into it now. People are seeing the value of upcycling clothing, and yeah, that's just like where I'm at. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Make sure, yeah, everything's linked down below where you can find me. I will see you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed the hair reveal because I also spent like, I don't even know. This was like a 2-day process to get my hair like this. So this is the reveal. Thank you so much. Love everybody, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.